Hi everyone, this is Michael Condon representing Toomedtoo. We've got your fix, and this is going to be a video with Michael Pappas talking about the Mandalorian Chapter 4. We actually missed last week because just busy schedules and everything, so we're going to talk about 3 really quickly though. But first, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was wonderful. It was a little bit hectic.
Yeah?
With my girlfriend's restaurant being new, they weren't sure if they were going to open or not open. And then she decided to open, and then she got home at 5 o'clock in the morning, Thanksgiving Day, and said that she got a manager to come in so she didn't have to work.
Well, that's good.
And so then it was last minute making some plans for Thanksgiving, and just threw together some stuff really quick, and she ended up going in anyways because that's what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
So was the
and
restaurant busy?
yeah, they were really busy. They're in Times Square, so
Oh, that's
it's
great news.
it's Long Acre.
Okay.
So brand new. If you're thinking about having any Christmas parties, you should probably get a hold of her really quick because they have 4 floors and they're filling up now.
What was it called before Longhorn, or it was always that?
Long Acre.
Long Acre. Was
Um,
it called something else before that?
I don't know what it was. I think the spot was vacant for a long period of time, and
Okay.
just with New York City, they were supposed to open in February and ended up opening till the summer.
Very cool. Well, we
And it
should
wasn't
sorry, go ahead.
it wasn't because of them. It was because of New York City, and you'd have somebody scheduled for an appointment or to come take a look at something or to do whatever for whatever BS that you got to do for license, and they just wouldn't show up. And then you have to go down. You have to go downtown the next day, and they schedule an appointment that's going to be 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, and just that kind of stuff.
It's terrible. It's such a headache. I know how it is. Getting permits in New York City is one of the worst things in the world.
Yep,
And then to get an inspector to show up is like pulling all your teeth out, man. So I get that.
it sure is.
Yeah, but that's great, man. Congratulations on her restaurant, and God bless and good luck to that, dude. That's great.
Perfect place for a meetup sometime. Anybody that wants to have one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Rogue One or not, just a lot of listeners and friends, for cons or whatever gatherings, we could totally utilize that space for sure.
Yeah, it's a little. It's. I mean, well, I guess it's not too far away from the cow. What's the Java Center at?
That's 11th and 35th, 34th, 35th. So
Yeah, I mean,
we can
so
take
it
the
would be.
7 train, right? Like the 7 that you and I almost did when we
Yeah,
hit the subway.
yeah, that would be perfect for it. It's right down on 6th and I should know it. I don't
40,
know.
43rd, I think, or 44th, right?
Yeah, I forget the exact street but you get off the train and you're 30 seconds from there, so
It's
it's
got to be
a perfect
43rd
spot.
Street. It's got to be like 43rd because the subway's at 42nd. So,
Could be 47th. I don't know. I'll
right.
let you know for the next one.
All
But
right.
so I haven't actually. Well, I've talked to you quite. I always talk to you, but I haven't talked to you where other people are around or listening. So um, it's been a little over a week or so, and there's been a little bit of news. They've been making the rounds on Good Morning America, which really sucks because I don't work mornings, and if I knew these people were there, I could go down there and hang out and hope to get, even though the place is sold out, hope to get a seat or a ticket in, especially wearing all Star Wars stuff. They might say, okay, come on in.
Yeah.
But I don't find out until I'm not down with all the gossip and all the entertainment, so I don't know who's going to be where and on what show until it airs or it's too late. So
Yeah, I don't even know if there's like a schedule released for that. If it's like, oh yeah, in 2 weeks, Daisy Ridley's going to be at GMA. I don't even think that exists, right? They just kind of like wing it on you.
I think so. I think a lot of times they'll tell you, like they tell you today on Monday we're going to have this person. Well, that's not too bad. That gives you a couple days to try and figure something out. But a lot of times, if on Monday they announce Tuesday it's going to be Daisy Ridley, then if I don't watch the show, I'm not going to find out about it till the middle of the afternoon or till that night. which isn't a problem. I can still go down there in the morning, but
Yeah.
I just basically, if anybody ever hears of anyone in going to be Star Wars related in New York City, let me know where they think they're going to be, and I can go and try and sneak my way in, or do some sweet talking. Maybe give them some $20 action and see what I can do.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's got to be a lot more promotion they're going to do in this town from now until the
Yep.
19th. So we'll try
Yeah.
to figure
And
something
I
out.
and I got mornings off. I know you work in the morning, but I got mornings off as of now.
That's
Until
great, man.
until my double secret promotion comes in. Um, you
Right
know,
on.
but yeah. So Daisy
Awesome.
Ridley and John Boyega both did Good Morning America. J.J. Abrams did also, and J.J. Abrams let it slip that somebody's script got actually. What happened is the whole story. Somebody left their script behind, and the cleaning lady found it. So we all thought it was a hotel room that somebody stole it. It wasn't. A cleaning lady found it because they moved out of their apartment and left it underneath the bed. And when they
Did they really like
remembered,
move out? Like they
he,
moved
yeah,
out? He
yeah,
moved
he
the whatever.
it was well, we find out that it's John Boyega,
Right.
and he moved out. He admitted it. He said, "Yeah, it was me. I was moving from one apartment to another." So it's probably one of those things where he wasn't really living there. He was there because they were filming or doing whatever, and was going from one location to another. It wasn't his like permanent address or anything. I could be wrong. I don't really know.
Right.
They didn't get that too involved. That's just what I'm speculating. And he left it behind. His safe keeping place was underneath the bed, so nobody found it. And then, however much time passed, he said a couple months later, when they went back to check, it was gone. But a
No,
before
no,
they
that's
even
that's not what happened. Well, I think what happened was Disney called him and was like, "John, the script is on eBay." Like, they like didn't Lucasfilm find it on eBay first before he realized it?
well, yes. I don't know if they knew it was his or not, but
Right.
it's as the story comes out, everything unfolds a little bit more. But somebody that works for either Disney or Lucasfilm found it and on eBay, and they said got it back. Whether or not they bought it back or they just had Disney lawyers call them and say, "Hey, just so you know, you'll pretty much be dead if um, this gets sold." It's whatever with all the legal shenanigans that they would pull.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not. They didn't really get into that I've heard. It was just you know bits and pieces here and there and piecing it together. Where it was John Boyega, and it wasn't like a hotel cleaning staff. It was they said a cleaner for the apartment, whether it was like an Airbnb or it was a sublet, or he just got a 3 month lease or whatever it was, or month and a half, whatever it was. I'm not really sure.
Uh
They
huh.
haven't really gotten into it, but it just shows that with all the security, no matter how tight it is, things could happen. And if they would have, and it was like $1,000 or $2,000, I think it was. I mean, it might have been more, but I think it was something small like that. That if they would have known what they had, they could have gotten so much more for that.
Oh, forget it, dude. How funny is it though? Like it's almost priceless at that point in time, and not only did nobody bid on it, or did they execute a successful sale, but the how cheap it was up for. I mean, it's just the whole irony of the thing is radical to me.
Yeah, but it's just they didn't know what they had, or didn't want to be too suspicious, so they probably put it under some kind of different name, or it probably didn't say the Rise of Skywalker on it. It probably said, I don't even know what code name or whatever they're using for it now.
Yeah.
Um, they just probably whatever that was and put movie script and put that name on there. I don't know. It's all speculation, but um,
What a story,
and
man.
you know, and
Crazy
then
story.
it was. I never watched regular TV. Everything I watch is on Hulu or Netflix or now Disney. I used to watch quite a bit of TV, but my TV calendar is still. I'm on October 31st right now, so I'm pretty much
You're
going to start losing days. But especially since Disney came out. But I was
right.
watching my Buffalo Bills destroy that pathetic Dallas Cowboys team, and
Congratulations.
thank you. Getting a little bit of recognition that we're actually a good team and in there for contenders. Still a young team, and don't want to bore everybody with ball sports, but it's just been a horrible team for 20 some years since they
Yep.
lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, and finally got some action going on, and would have probably beat the Patriots if the Patriots didn't cheat and use a illegal hit to knock our quarterback out with a helmet to helmet.
What a surprise! What a surprise that is. Belichick cheating, right?
Well, I mean, they're a bunch of scumbags. But
Hey, listen. At least you guys went to the Super Bowl 4 times in the past 20 years. I mean, being a Jets fan's been tough, but I like Darnold, and I think the Jets got something for the near future. Maybe not this year, but I think I see some progress and some light at the end of the tunnel for my Jets. And I don't hate the Buffalo Bills. That's my third New York team, honestly, in football. So that's like my third favorite team.
Well, it's the only New York team, but that's a whole other conversation in itself.
Yep.
And you said in the light of that in the tunnel, we've had some TV spots coming up and some international trailers.
That's right.
And we had some. The big one everyone's talking about right now is this is going to be a spoiler, so go ahead a couple minutes if you don't want to hear it.
Yep.
Mike's still working on his camera, so it's just, and my dog just knocked into my table. Mike's still working on his camera, so it is just me right now. So if you don't want to see me talk about it, the light at the end of the tunnel wasn't really end of the tunnel. It was more out of, my God, what are you doing? Hey,
Damn, listen, man, don't feel bad. I've got Jackson on my lap here. If I put him down, he'll start barking like he did on Rogue One last week. Pain in my ass.
My other one's laying next to me, so. But so it wasn't really light at the end of the tunnel, but it was a big green light coming off of everything, I guess you'd say. And it was like out of Solo.
It reminded me of the Maw and the big megalodon octopus space monster. Do we have a name for that thing?
We do. I can't think of it right now.
It reminded me. It's got to be like a space worm, right?
Yeah. I don't know what this thing. I don't know what. I forget what the name of the one in Solo was. So someone will correct us for being fake fans. And
what is it with the Millennium Falcon and running into space monsters? I mean, like, Empire Strikes Back, right?
Because it's
the asteroid worm.
Because it's perfectly. It's the perfect shape to
It's a cracker.
get away from a mouth of a space worm.
I 100% agree with you. It's
the space. It would fit in there perfectly. So as it clamps down, it just shoots right out, and you got everything to go with. I actually, because I just want to preface this again. I do not collect Funko Pops.
You do not?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But I got the Millennium Falcon Funko Pop, that big ass one that's like the size of a record, or an LP.
And is it Chewie and Han like in the cockpit?
I think so. I haven't opened it up yet. I still have. I've done some damage on my pile of stuff. I got a new bookcase coming. A 7 foot, 4 foot wide monster to fit all my books on, because I had to get the cheap Target ones or whatever. You put a couple books on them, they start to sag in the middle.
I was just going to say, for your investment and the amount of time, money, and effort you put into your collection, you can't really half-ass the display and where you're going to kind of where it's going to live. It's smart on your end and your behalf to put money and investment in good furniture where you can actually display it nice and you can enjoy it. And I think that's been a long time coming for you, and you can finally get through all those boxes you got.
Yeah, well, I really need it for my books. Once I get it for my books, then I can display on my other bookshelf Funkos and Black Series and things like that. But
yeah, it's one thing at a time. I'm going through the same thing in my basement right now. Everything's a mess, but once I get the video game portion of it set up, I can go into the other area and I can move things. I'll have more room to set up the toys and the books and stuff. But right now I can't until the video games part of it is done because of room, right? You got to kind of move things around as you work through it, and I think that's what you're talking about. Once you get your book set up, you can then have the room to utilize for the rest of your collectibles and such.
Yeah, and your basement isn't a mess. It's organized chaos.
It's
There's a big
organized
difference.
chaos. Thank you. It is organized chaos, actually.
It really is. Um, and why we're really quick before we delve into the Mandalorian. If you're here, please subscribe to this channel. You can give it a like if you want. That's really not what my intention is. I'm just trying to get to that 1,000 so I can live stream from San Diego, or not San Diego Comic Con.
Even better.
Celebration Anaheim. So when me and Mikey are walking down, talking to everybody, doing our thing,
That's
you
right.
can be right there with us. You can say, hey, check out this, check out that. Because right now I can stream, I just can't live stream. So I can record and go on afterwards and load it up. But I can't just do it and have you there and say, hey, check out this person. Oh, I think, I like whatever. I like Ewok, so check out that Ewok that's over there. But with that being said, I got some more stuff I'll tell you at the end. I got a plan to get rid of some of those boxes. But we should probably talk about The Mandalorian.
Let's do it, man.
We missed last week because of scheduling.
Yep.
But really quick, let's just run through. I'm just kind of going to run through a summary. If there's anywhere you want to stop me, go ahead and add some stuff in before we get to Chapter 4. So Chapter 3, it was called The Sin.
Dun, dun.
We have the Mandalorian on the ship with Baby Yoda. Goes back. He's giving them to the client, Werner Herzog, and he goes to their lair, domicile, whatever you want to call it. You see some dirty-ass stormtroopers come out, and they grab the floating bassinet, and, the one-liner funny part was the Mandalorian says, hey, be careful with that. And the stormtrooper says, you be careful with that. Which is just regular shit that we would say to each other, or say to somebody else with, not trying to start a fight or an argument, but, somebody bumps into you when you're walking down the street and they're like, hey, watch where you're going. You're like, you watch where you're going. Okay, done and over with. So Mandalorian goes in, meets the client, and wants to know, how many fobs did you give out? Because he notices all these people have fobs now, or all these people had fobs. And
this is after he, I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is after he gave the baby to Werner Herzog and Dr. Cushing or whatever, Pershing.
Yes. So he hands the baby off, and then he wants to know, what's going on with this. You gave me a job. How many other people had this job? And
all of them, Mando.
This asset was very important to me. And, he's like, well, what are you going to do with it? Why do you, I forget exactly what he said.
Well, no, he's asking Carl Weathers. What's Carl Weathers' character's name again?
No, this is before he asks Carl Weathers, because he asks
Werner Herzog you're talking about.
He asks Werner Herzog, what are you going to do with it? Why did you want it or whatever? And he's
got it. I'm sorry, I was confused.
Yeah, this is unbecoming of, someone in the guild to be asking these questions. Once the job is done, it doesn't matter what happens.
How uncharacteristic coming from someone of your occupation. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's good, because I'm not even doing impressions right now.
And he, the other one, which was good, was he said something else to him. He said, even steel is less rare than the Mandalorians. Something. Okay, no more impersonations.
Okay, now see that I think has basically he's telling them, here's your money, here's your what's the thing called?
Beskar.
I know Beskar, but what's the safe?
The ice cream machine. The ice cream machine maker.
Yeah, which is another thing. Everybody started putting out articles and going crazy about that. We've actually we found out what the ice cream maker was. We found out what ice cream maker was. That was a big thing at Celebration. I don't know why no one remembers it. But like all these news media outlets or whatever, just putting out stuff, I think for clicks. And a lot of people that are, big Star Wars fans or whatever. I mean, they must have forgotten it or whatever, because it was a big ordeal. And a lot of people that weren't even at Celebration remember it. because whoever it was, Favreau or someone talked about how the ice cream maker was a safe. That's what he was carrying. And because when I came back from Celebration, it was all over Twitter, people talking about it, that, oh, it's a safe, it's a safe.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if people just forgot about it or if it was because now it was actually, instead of being us just being told that that's what it was, we actually saw it being that. I think it was probably a little bit of both, but there was also the clickbait part where, um, a lot of the news stories came out the next morning, or articles came out the next morning that it was a safe. It's now been, the mystery's over and everything. That's what kind of just got me, is it wasn't a mystery. You either didn't remember it or
You
forgot
missed
about
it.
it,
Or you missed it.
or missed it. But it was pretty much, you know it was out there. It was common. It wasn't like something like obscure that you just found out about. But yeah, that's just me being kind of anal retentive and a nerd, I guess. But
Aren't we all?
so he takes his money, and with Werner Herzog, the client. I have two thoughts on this. I'm not sure if he was saying, here's all this Beskar. I don't know what you're going to do with it, because you got to find someone to turn it into your suit of armor, because the only ones that know how to do the Beskar iron are Mandalorians. So no one else. You could give it to another blacksmith, and they can't do anything with it because they don't know how to make it.
Yep.
If he was saying it that way, or if he was saying, you better not fuck with me on this, because Mandalorians are so rare. It's not. No one's going to matter. It's not going to matter if there's one more missing,
I
or
think that's what he meant,
one
Mike.
less one. Um,
I think he was going with
so
that one to kind of, give him a little threat under the table. Like, don't think twice about this. Take your reward and get out, or else we'll make quick work of you and no one will care.
okay, and then he leaves and he goes to see Apollo Creed,
Yep.
and Apollo's like, dude, listen, stop worrying about what he's going to do. That's not up to us. Take a break. Why are you here so quick? You're my best friend. All these guys hate you now.
He wants to take him to the Twilight healing baths, tell him to live a little
Yes,
bit, take some time off.
I mean, let's be honest. Who doesn't want to go to the Twilight healing baths?
I mean, listen, I've seen them. It's actually in a movie called Rocky IV, and it's Apollo Creed is in the bath, and there's these beautiful black labs in a pool, and I guess the Twi'leks are kind of underwater doing the healing. It's a beautiful bath.
That could I saw that. I may have missed that portion. I mean, I saw that. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just may have missed the Twi'leks underneath, holding their breath.
It's left for the imagination, not the eye.
Okay. Well, then I got quite an imagination on that one. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And then he leaves. The Mandalorian leaves to go do his next mission. Gets on the Razor Crest, which we still don't have a name for yet, and sees there was a little ball that Baby Yoda was playing with, that was part of control, and he sees that, and Mando's like, okay, you know what, this is wrong, I can't do this. This little reminder here, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to get him back. And he goes back.
I was just going to say quickly, this is why this is my favorite episode, is because it's 3 parts, and all 3 parts, the beginning, middle, and end, is all about Mandalorian changing his emotion and his decision making, and where the story is going to go. Like at first, Baby Yoda takes off the little knob from the shifter, and he takes it back, and he says it's not a toy. So that's where we know where it has that. Like, you don't play with anything; you're an asset. That's it. Now we're at a part where he gets back in the ship and he sees it off, and it changes his mind, right? So that's the beginning and the middle now, and you see the character shape his emotion through these 2 scenes, and I thought it was beautifully done by Deborah. I thought it was just fantastic. But continue on, and then we'll talk about the 3rd part, the end.
So he goes back to the lair. He gets in there. ends up having to kill a couple of stormtroopers, and he gets to the doctor. The doctor is running some tests. Oh, he. This is the interesting thing too. His rifle is he can use it for sound, for hearing. That's what he was using as like an antenna, so he could hear the conversation that the client and the doctor were having. And the client said, basically, I can't just go and get the I don't know if you said the essence, get the essence out of it, or whatever they needed. We don't.
Yeah, he
Excuse me. We
didn't.
don't know yet. We don't know yet what it is. Whether it was midichlorians or DNA or whatever the scenario is going to turn out to be. And I can't protect you anymore. So get it done now, and you'll still be safe. And then um, the Mandalorian comes in, and he was right. He couldn't be protected anymore, but he can actually tell that the Mandalorian can tell that the Doctor had remorse or actually cared for the baby Yoda and didn't want to hurt it, but he really had no choice. It was either him. It was either baby Yoda or him. Is what it was
No,
going to
but
come
he was
down.
protecting it. I mean, he said if it wasn't for me, the baby would already be dead. Once Mando got to him, I don't think he would have killed that baby, no matter what. Doctor Pershing, I really believe that he cared for it.
Well, that's we still don't know yet. We might find out later what the essence is. Was it DNA or was it um,
Midichlorians.
midichlorian,
I don't think
or
he said
is this
essence though,
part of
Mike.
does this tie into um, Palpatine, and Palpatine knew a way to steal the Force from another individual, and it was passed down in writings, and these are part of um, Chuck Wendig's books, like a little branch off of there. That's where the Mandalorian falls into that. So everything ties together because nothing's an accident. Everything's written together, and there's no coincidences, whatever.
Coincidence.
Um, there's
Coincidences.
there's none of those things in
No
Star Wars.
coincidence. I
There,
think there are seeds, right? Like there's seeds in Wendig's books. There's seeds here for the sequel trilogy and beyond, and I think we're also going to see seeds in other forms that are going to come out. Like maybe even Clone Wars season 7 will find a way to attach itself to the sequel trilogy, and I think it's really really cool. I think that um, we just don't know. And I think even after episode 9, we're still going to have a lot of questions, man. Even after the season ended, we'll probably have more questions. We'll probably get a few answers and a ton more questions, you know?
and that's what books and TV shows are for, which I have no problem with because it's almost impossible to tie up this whole thing in a 2.5 hour movie. But
Yep.
um, so Mando takes Baby Yoda, leaves the Doctor alive, and he goes and he's got to kill a couple more bad guys. And the next thing you know, um, I think this is when he sets one of them on fire. He burns one of them to death. Um, and then after he burns them to death, I don't care that your dog's barking, dude. You can unmute it. That's fine.
Yeah, I just
That's not a big
just so
deal.
Jenny gets him, I just kind of can hop in and out. That's fine. I'm here.
Is this where he he sets the one on fire, and then he gets surrounded and there's no way out, so he's like, okay, let me put it down, this is too valuable. And then when his armor was made, he got the was it birds of prey,
Whistling birds.
whistling birds. He got the whistling birds, which just kind of he shut them off, and they just went do 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 do.
So these are
And
basically like little tiny homing nails, if you will, that can kind of hit a critical artery or a critical heart or basically a critical hit. And it's really, really cool how it's done. He kind of sits down and he presses it on its wrist, and you kind of hear it charge up. And you can tell that they're all like kind of like homing in on their target. I thought that was really unique, especially when the armor smith, the forger, tells him like whistling birds are like super rare but like extremely effective. I thought that was all very very deep Star Wars lore.
yeah, that was really cool. That was and yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So then
and
after
then
that, he what does he do next?
he gets to he starts walking to his
The
ship.
Razor Crest, right?
Yep. And then all of a sudden, he's walking and he hears fobs going off, and he's seeing people um, start following him, and everyone starts following him.
It's
So
basically the whole
everybody,
guild, right? Like the whole entire guild.
yep.
On at least where they're. What planet are we on, by the way? What planet is this?
I don't think we know.
Wow. Do you find it weird that the Mandalorian's hidden cave hideout or whatever is on the same planet where the Bounty Hunter Guild is? And it's the same planet where the Empire's secret laboratory is to get Baby Yoda to? It's all on the same planet, right? All three of
Yeah,
those things.
it's all on the same planet. It's all in the same city.
I wonder if that's broken down Mandalore. I'm just wondering.
I honestly I have no idea, and I don't have any reason to say yes that I think it is, or any reason to say no that I don't think that it is. I
We're
think
just not supposed to know, I guess, at this point.
yeah, we don't really know right now. It's one of those mysteries of Star Wars, and oh, we missed the fight in the beginning of the movie.
We did.
Um, Mandalorian takes his Beskar and says, "I want my armor made," and she said it's going to draw a lot of attention. And all of a sudden, all these other Mandos come in there and want to know where he got it from and how he got it, and that he got it from the Empire, which destroyed their civilization and what they were, and how can he work for them? And
well, there was one in particular, the big dude. He's heavy artillery. He's actually from Clan Vizsla. It was said, I guess, in press or release, or Favreau said it, and Jon Favreau actually plays this character in the show.
He does.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's jealous.
Does his voice.
He does his voice, but who knows? Maybe he did put the suit on for a minute. It was a big guy. Favreau's a big dude. He's a husky dude. That definitely wasn't a skinny guy in that suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it was him in the suit. But
well, he's
you
got
never
to direct. He's got to direct, I guess.
Well, you can still put on the suit and direct, but it all depends on. I think it was just a much bigger person, in stature, taller and wider.
Yeah, I think
there'd be a lot more filler in that suit than what he would need.
That's true. I think the character itself, this big Vizsla guy, I don't know if his first name's Paz Vizsla or whatever. He was jealous because you could tell their armor is all like kind of worn and like a little beat up. Like you could tell they saw some action. Meanwhile, he's got full Beskar, which is almost unheard of with whoever's left, however many left Mandalorians there are in their little community, right? So at first he's jealous, telling him you sit at table with the Empire who took our planet and our Beskar. But at the same time, like, he got it back, which is what the Forger says. She says, well, look, it's been returned. That's all that matters is it's returned to us. Mm-hmm. Look at it that way. Which I thought was really, really cool.
And that's where we get, what do we get from that? What else do we get from that?
We got whistling birds, and he's also going to give some of the leftovers to the foundlings, which means there are younger kids that they're going to be raising, younger Mandalorians, right? Is that what
I meant, what saying did we get with that?
Oh, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Oh, and she also says, "Have you ever removed your helmet? Has your helmet ever been removed?" And he said, "No."
No.
And that's very a strong question because apparently, once their helmet comes off in public or in battle, they're no longer allowed to wear the Mandalorian helmet. They're no longer allowed to be a Mandalorian. That's how proud they are. And this is the way speaks to that directly, I believe. Or indirectly,
for their, yeah. So that's our little spot we missed because I can't believe how that's one of the biggest part. This is the way, because now that's what Twitter and all social media was. This is the way. This is the way. Yeah. Right after that, that meme where that guy turns around with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's mad because he's checking out another chick.
This is the way.
This is the way is the other chick, and his girlfriend is I have spoken.
Yeah.
Is the meme that's been going on around there. But anyways, we get back to the Mandalorian and everyone surrounding him. Apollo Creed comes out and he says to him, "I'm your only hope," which I just feel that wording's weird because I take it back to,
that's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. just saying that I'm your only hope. That's just, I don't know if it was just me
It's an Easter
or
egg, you know.
if anyone else, picked up on it or something like that. And then we have a firefight breaks out, and Mando is pretty much done. And he has to hide, and he's going to be able to get off a couple last shots. And Apollo Creed says once again, that's a really impressive gun you have there. And
Well, it's the disintegration rifle, or it's the pulse rifle, but he has disintegration rifle bullets, right?
Yeah.
So cool. It's my favorite weapon in Star Wars right now. Besides
it is pretty sweet. And then, it's pretty much done. And then the next thing, you see a little explosion happen, or a big explosion, whatever you want to see. And then you just see, missile after missile, and then a bunch of Mandos coming down with their jetpacks, and they start kicking ass. And they get the Mandalorian out of there and get him to so he can get away to his ship. And he gets on his ship. He's getting ready. Everything's going to be okay. They're going to fly away. And then all of a sudden, Apollo Creed jumps down and says, listen, I didn't want to do it like this. And they have their little talk, and he's going to kill the Mando, but all of a sudden Mando shoots him and leaves him for dead. And he gets on the Razor Crest and flies away. But then we see Carl Weathers is still moving. The Mando shot him in the heart. But what we saw when they met earlier was the Mando knew that Apollo Creed put the Beskar in his pocket, which was covering his heart. So he knew exactly where to shoot him. It was going to be enough to knock him on his ass, to put him out of commission for enough time for him to get away. But
so you think that shot was on purpose, not to kill him?
Yeah.
Really? Why? Why wouldn't he want to kill him?
Have you ever worked for a boss that was kind of like family, even though they were an asshole and took advantage of you, but you still kind of were friends with them? I think that's kind of along the lines that was.
I think you got lucky, man. I think it was like if you look at the old westerns, Mike, and like the 6-shooters, sometimes it'll shoot the sheriff's badge. The sheriff goes down and his badge saves him. I'd love to hear everybody else's take. I mean, whoever's listening here. I know David Donovan loves both of us. He's a good friend of ours and listener. Hopefully he can comment on what he thinks. But I truly believe, in my opinion, and I like that we're in a disagreement here because we're rarely in one. I truly believe that the most important thing to him was saving this child, and he could give two rats' asses about his somewhat half-assed friendship with his boss, But I like that we're at opposite ends there, and I see your point. I definitely see your point as well.
I just think, and I think it's going to lay out later on in the series, whether it's this season or depending on if this season ends up and if it carries on, if this season has a lot of ties to next season, or if they're kind of two different stories with maybe just a couple Easter eggs back and forth, or however it's really going to be. And then it's going to come down to that something's going to happen, and Carl Weathers is going to have the chance to take out Mando, but decides not to because, the Mando says to him, I could have killed you before, but I purposely shot you in the Beskar, or something like that.
It'd be great, a nice twist at the end to have Apollo Creed team up with Mando against whatever these Imperial fuckers are trying to get the baby,
Yeah.
I think that'd be really, really cool. And Mike, we've only got, I know we're not even up to reviewing 4, which we're about to do soon, but we've only got 3 episodes left, right?
Yeah, we only have 7 episodes.
Well, I'm saying, so after 4, there's only 3 left. Do we have the
runtime
time for... No. 8? There's 8 episodes or 4?
8 episodes.
Okay, so there's 4 more after this. So we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, the reason I was thinking 7 was because I think the first episode, episode 1 and 2 was supposed to be 1 episode, and they decided to cut it into half. I could be wrong, when not when they filmed it, but before filming, it was like written as one script or one episode, and they said instead of doing one for an hour and a half or whatever it was, and then everyone's expecting an hour and a half one, let's do it as a 40 and a 40, and since all the rest of them are that long anyways, because it was going to be 7 episodes long, and they're like, well, nobody does 7 episodes, let's just do 8 and cut it in half.
They may have done that.
That's
looking at
just
the weeks.
mindless speculation.
They may have done that looking at the weeks leading up to the Rise of Skywalker and the holiday. And if this thing was going to go live, the first weekend in November, they wanted to pace it out appropriately. We've also got a week that they skip for the week of the Rise of Skywalker release. So that kind of extends it into the Christmas, New Year's holiday, which I think is great for all of us to enjoy, actually.
Well, I don't think they skip. We have, what is it? The 13th is a Friday. And we have Mandalorian on that day, and then the next week we have it on Wednesday, because then on Friday we have the official release of The Rise of Skywalker. So they probably didn't want to have the.
Mike, I'm losing you for a sec, buddy. There you go. Sorry, I lost you.
So I think that's what I think that's part of what. I think that's. It goes Friday, Wednesday, the following Friday.
Got it. So it's mainly because they
just
didn't
want
that
for
crossover.
The Rise of Skywalker schedule, so that pans out. Yeah. And they probably wanted it all done this year for whatever reason. They didn't want to go into the next week of January. That's why we got the Tuesday and Friday. They haven't really come out and said anything about it, but. So he shoots him in the Beskar, gets on, he's on his plane, he's riding, and all of a sudden right outside the window we see the big dude.
The big dude, the Vizsla guy.
The
Jon Favreau's voiceover guy.
Yeah. We see him riding next to him, and he gives him a salute and peels off. I've heard a couple people say that it's like something from Iron Man or
no, it's
Top
from the
Gun.
Rocketeer. The Rocketeer did the exact same scene.
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of people are saying because Jon Favreau did Iron Man that it's a Jon Favreau thing from Iron Man. And that it reminds them of Top Gun, where they're next to each other and just kind of like, "Hey, buddy, good job," and just peel off or whatever. But it's from the Rocketeer.
Yeah, it's all of that, all of that combined.
Yeah. Well, it probably if Jon Favreau did get that idea from Iron Man, Iron Man got that idea, which was him from the Rocketeer. But so and then he gives Baby Yoda the ball, and that's how we end up. And that is our very quick 10-minute review we were going to do of Chapter 3, which ended up being 25 minutes or whatever it was.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. That's what happens here on the Toomedtoo channel. I'll just put it right at the bottom.
We have a good time, and we don't give no Fs.
Nope.
Except for Fridays. We love Friday.
Fridays are good. Saturdays are good for me because everything's all screwed up now with me. Getting this other thing going on, but okay. So, anything else you want to talk about? Was Deborah Chow?
It's my favorite episode so far. That's all I'm going to say. We spoke a lot about it, and I could keep rambling. But Mikey was my favorite, and I'll let you know if that changes soon.
Okay, and the director was Deborah Chow, so it was our first woman doing a Disney Lucasfilm live. Well, I shouldn't say Disney. I don't know about that. But it's our first woman director.
Right.
And
now we have our second woman director.
We do, and that is Bryce Dallas Howard, who most of you know has been in things like the Jurassic Park franchise. She's directed. I don't know any of this. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. Black Mirror. I'm pretty sure she did an episode of Black Mirror.
Yep.
I'm
looking it up right now.
and
She is
that's
the
all.
she's the very pretty girl in Jurassic World, right? The one that is with Chris Pratt character or whatever.
Yeah, the redhead.
That's amazing. I
Um,
would never think she'd be such a great director. Well, she's a great actress. I shouldn't say that. I didn't. It's really fantastic. She did a
well,
lot, man.
it's in her blood.
Yeah. Oh, who's her father?
Ron Howard,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Opie.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
So they both directed Star Wars.
yeah, and that's the thing where
That's fucking amazing.
so she got that was where one of the things that people are going crazy over because George Lucas gave her advice. Well, no, George Lucas didn't give her advice. Her father gave her the same advice that George Lucas had given him about. I don't know if it was Solo or whatever. It could have been when it could have been when he directed Willow and he gave him advice,
Yes,
or it could have been when they worked directly together. It was just basically it was advice that was handed down from George Lucas.
that's so cool.
Um, so that's what she said. Oh, I got this advice, whatever. And of course, everybody runs with it and misquotes it and says George Lucas is now working on the Mandalorian because he told her how to do her episode and blah blah blah.
Well, he
Because
probably look. They're family friends, right? I mean, Ron and George go back 40 years, if not more. I'm sure George is like an uncle to Bryce, and if Uncle George wants to come on set, The Godfather, and just hang out, obviously she's going to be more than ecstatic about it, and listen to every word he says like it's the gospel. That doesn't mean that George like basically told her how to direct the episode. It just means like he was hanging out with his Hollywood niece, and just throwing her a few
Mhm.
pointers where they were hanging out. That's okay.
Exactly. I mean, that's like if someone that when it comes to when I have questions about podcasting and things like that, or my one interview that I thought was fucking horrible, but everyone else that listened to it live said no, it's pretty good, and you listened to it and you said no, it's pretty good, and they were calling pots. You were like, dude, what were you even thinking? That I
Nah, we
still
get in
think
our own heads with that
you know
stuff, man. You did
um
great.
but I'm going to take your advice, and you're going to take advice from someone else, whether or not they have more experience than you or less experience than you, or whether it's people in our community that are staples that have pretty much the reason that we're all here, whether it be directly or indirectly.
That's
um
right.
when they say something, I'm not going to go and be like, oh, this person told me this and this person told me that, but someone else is going to be like, oh, well, they helped him, when it's like we're all in it, we're all in it together.
Yep.
So just as long as positive fandom is good, that's help each other out.
Absolutely.
um so anyways, the it starts off. I want to get your take on your influences, because we've talked before about influences on the movies. It starts off on
In space.
okay. It starts off on a
It,
planet.
I believe it starts off with the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in space looking for shelter and a good hiding spot for a few months.
Oh, I
And
thought I thought it started off with the planet and then went to the
oh, you're
okay.
right. You're right.
It starts off on
Yep. I'm
a
sorry.
planet, and we see
I apologize. Go ahead.
no worries. What it seems to be like, if to equate it to Earth or whatever, would be like rice paddies.
In
Um,
Vietnam.
yeah,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, um, I actually wasn't paying that much of attention, and I thought it was a flashback that he was having.
Oh.
Um, I realized that later on, but I thought it was a flashback of some sorts of these rice paddies and this village getting raided, and all of their stuff destroyed. Basically, they didn't get raped, but they got pillaged and plundered. Um,
They got
so,
pillaged and plundered. I think a lot of casualties, but it seemed that not
yep,
all of them died. Initially I thought that they wiped out the whole entire village and there was only these two people left, the mother and daughter. But
yep.
apparently, maybe they even just beat everybody up and lit everything on fire and like kind of took. I have an interesting theory that they want the krill for whatever. And we'll get into it as we move forward. But they want their farming stuff.
Okay. So, um, these raiders or whatever come in, destroy everything. Um, little mom and little girl are hiding underneath a bowl or a basket in the rice paddy, and that's how they survive. Everyone else, I'm assuming that they just fled the town or the village that they were in momentarily while the raiders came in. And then it cuts to Mando talking to Baby Yoda like they're friends now, or like you see a lot of times babysitters or parents. The dad talking to the kid or the child about what their plans are, what they're going to do, and even though the kid's not going to give any feedback because they're too young, it's still someone to talk to when you're stuck with them all day long,
Of
or
course.
like when I have conversations with my dogs, because I'm not I'm with them all day, and we have conversations, whatever.
I
Don't
talk
judge
to
me.
Jackson all day long, man.
You know, um,
I think it was great. So Baby Yoda's flipping a bunch of switches, and he's like, "Stop that! Like, stop playing with it."
yep.
And he picks him up by his little pouch, his little sack that he has on, and he puts him on his lap, and he goes, "Come here, you little womp rat." He calls him a little womp rat. I thought that was great.
So yeah, that was funny because it was like, all right, don't touch it, and then he touches it, and then all right, don't touch it, and then touch it. It's just like a little kid playing around, like let's see what I can get away with.
Yeah, he was trying to see what he could get away with. It's so funny.
And then so they land on this planet. It's called Sorgan. I believe this is the second planet we know of.
Well, Arvala 7, and this is Sorgan.
Yes, but Arvala 7 is where Gary Busey lives.
Yes, that's correct.
Um, so they go and they sit down and I don't know, like an open type restaurant or community place or whatever, and he orders some.
It's like the equivalent of a tavern in like a farm town. The only tavern in town, right?
Yeah, but it seemed more of a community type place than like a saloon.
More like a diner instead of a bar, basically.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
for
okay, yeah,
like the local community.
yeah. That's what I was going for.
Yeah,
And before they sit down, we see Baby Yoda sees a loth cat. For those of you
I
that
love that. Love it.
um, if you are into the cartoons at all, that's where that would be coming from.
And how great was it to see a loth cat like in CGI?
In real life?
I
Yeah,
mean, that fucking thing was awesome.
it would. If all cats were loth cats, I'd probably like cats.
For sure.
Um, um,
I thought he
and
was going to eat him. Like, he's so
baby,
tiny.
wait, Baby Yoda was gonna eat the loth cat, or loth cat
No,
was
I
gonna eat?
thought the loth cat was going to eat Baby Yoda. His teeth were the size of Baby Yoda. Like his mouth, I mean. Because he's so close to his face. If you watch it again, like Baby Yoda's ears are lining up with the cat's eyes.
And then Baby Yoda could have done some magic force thing and just like poof him out.
That'd be
Um, that
insane.
that would have been hilarious. That would have been that would have been funny as hell. I mean, who gives a shit? Like everybody would, or not everybody, but other people would have complained. Like you can't do that with the force, and how does he know how to do that or whatever? It's
Yeah,
like
right. Mary Sue,
you know,
your Baby Yoda again.
he bites him, and all of a sudden he like pops up like a huge balloon, and Baby Yoda just pops right out. That would have been hilarious.
That'd be hysterical.
Um, and so they sit down, and this is what everyone was waiting for. Well, not everyone, but one of the big features that people were waiting for.
Hmm.
He looks over, and there's someone that's out of place. Why was this person out of place, Mikey?
Because, well, she's not one of the locals, and she's also on the run, and her name is Cara Dune, I believe. And it seems that she is hiding there, and they both look across the this community diner of this little village, and they both don't like seeing one another.
Okay, so I also thought this was kind of funny. I don't know if this is a generational thing or like going like a millennial. When they ordered the bone broth,
The bone
um,
broth.
I mean, not many people order bone broth. That's going to be a New York City thing, or I think for the most part, or like an LA, California thing. One of your bigger cities. I mean, who wants to pay? You
Well,
know, who wants to pay $20 for a bowl of soup? That's just
Well, Mike,
broth.
you know, it did become a trend the last few years in these, like, you know, these hipster pseudo. I don't want to offend anybody, but, like, you know, in like these, I don't know, these trends in Beverly Hills to the Lower East Side in Manhattan. However, my dad's a
Hmm.
chef, and he told me, you know, bone broth goes back thousands and thousands of years to the ancient Greeks were using bone broth to eat and to cook, and it's a very good source of nutrition. And it would make sense because it's really what you do is you take the bones of any animal and you basically heat it up in broth over a course of days. And
Yeah,
you let it sit in a kettle pot or a pressure cooker or whatever, and it sucks out all the nutrients within the bones and stuff. And I could see that being used on any planet across like in the Star Wars galaxy. It makes such sense. It's a universal food that I think relates to Earth that would totally relate to Star Wars because there's beasts and animals with bones, right?
yeah. It's like the same like when you make veal stock, or
Exactly. It's the same
any kind
thing.
of stock, and you roast the bones to get the marrow all cooked and soft,
It's the same thing.
and then
Yeah, well, you could do that on any planet. I feel like with any bone.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. It just struck me as, I mean, yes, I'm not trying to offend anybody either. I usually do offend people a lot of times just because it's not intentional. I just, I'm not offended very easily, so I just assume other people don't get offended.
Same.
Um,
Same.
and then it turns out that I'm an asshole because I wasn't really trying to be, you know.
Nah, you're not an asshole.
But well, I know, but that's what a lot of people think. It's like to know me is to love me. You know.
I hear you,
Um,
brother.
but so he looks over, and all of a sudden, Cara Dune's gone, and
You
he's
didn't like
thinking,
that.
no, he's thinking, he's like, okay, this isn't good. What's going on now? I got to find out why this person's here, because she's
Or why did
probably,
she just get up so quickly?
yeah. I mean, you see someone that looks out of place, and you make eye contact with them, and you turn around, and 4 seconds later they're gone. There's
I'd freak
probably
out.
something wrong.
I would freak out.
Um, so now he goes out, and he looks for her and doesn't see her. So what
Well,
does
he's
he
using
do?
his infrared on the helmet, right?
Well, that's what I
After.
was gonna. That's what I was gonna say. Some of the difference. So he goes to track her, and he puts on his um, infrared, like you said, and it was like some shit out of Predator.
Yeah, it was totally out of
Um,
Predator. Everything was like blue, and then anytime there was any heat signature, it would be that red, like that the Predator would see.
yeah. Now that's where I was talking when we first started with um, this series. We talked a lot about how like the directors, a lot of their influences, it seemed like were westerns, Indiana Jones movies, things along that nature. I mean, we've already talked about it.
Yes.
This one seemed more like um, just a little skewed a little bit different age wise. Not in a bad way at all. I'm not trying to say that. It just didn't have as much
The
of that.
nostalgic '80s feel, or not '80s. I mean, the nostalgic feel of the other genres that we've been accustomed to so far in the previous 3 episodes.
Yeah, like I got like Predator and war movies, and like that. Like I don't
I
know.
had a little old World War II movie feel when they were protecting the barracks when they were coming in. I got a little spy action when they were breaking into. Well, we're not there yet, but I also got a little of the Predator as well when they were kind of in this scene we're discussing right now, and also when they were on the hunt for these guys.
Yeah, like I mean, it just like and I'm not in any way saying because it's as different. I think it was amazing because it just shows that they have. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard is inexperienced when it comes to being a director, according to her credentials. not
Yeah.
what she can actually do. And her, I mean, you can be a
No,
great
I mean,
actor. You can be a great actor and a horrible director, or vice versa. Um,
yeah,
you
I mean,
know,
she's only directed a few things, man. I mean, she in 2013 she did a film. It was called where is it? I just saw it. The Claudia Lewis, um, and I'm not really seeing a lot of directed stuff, but mostly as an actress. So she's just really starting out. I do see a Black Mirror episode here. So there was a
yep.
Black Mirror episode, a film. Um, Maybe there's some more TV stuff that I'm missing, but like she's very inexperienced overall as a director.
Well,
Never mind.
with her credentials, she's inexperienced. But it could
Right.
have been, who knows how many times she was on set with her dad when he was directing something, or I have a friend of mine who's a professional hockey player, and he's retired, and he actually coached. Not really. I was friendly with him. I hung out with him a few times. I wouldn't really say like friends. Like I wouldn't call him up right now. When I lived in North Carolina, it's kind of a different story. But he was a coach for a while in an NHL. But he'd be, I'd be with him, and we'd be at the restaurant, and his son would be there, and there'd be a hockey game on, and he'd tell his son, "Okay, look at this, look at that. This is this, this is that." So his son's getting, even though his son isn't a hockey coach, hadn't played when he was a kid, but hadn't played since then, could probably be a pretty good hockey coach from growing up and just that being embedded in with him. Where
Absolutely.
if Ron Howard be like, "Oh, did you see how they blocked that?" And everything moves left to right. If you move right to left, people aren't used to that. It messes up your whole senses.
Of
Just
course.
like the basics that I say basics just because
And
it's what I know.
well, she's
If
she's been taking advice from her father since she was probably 4 years old, and a lot of that stuff sticks with you. And we're talking about one of the best, arguably one of the best directors of the 21st century, or 20th century, if you will. And I think that a lot of what you're saying kind of speaks to that. Like Bryce just remembers things. Her father saying
yeah,
when directed, like, "Oh, honey, you know why I did a shot up from this angle? You know why I did that?" And that sticks with you, like you said, like a great hockey coach over the years.
um, so yeah. So anyways, I don't know. You said it much better than I did. You summed
No,
it
no,
up.
and I just want to say that she also is coming out with a documentary called Dads, which is basically like a portrait of contemporary fatherhood about in Hollywood, where you come into this prestigious royal a Hollywood family, and then you get advice and growth in your talent and your skill set as an actor or a director or writer or filmmaker because of your parents. And that was actually was at the Toronto Film Festival this year, and it's actually going to be released, I believe, later this winter, which is pretty cool because it speaks to what we're talking about here.
Yes. Um,
All right, so we're back to episode 4. So he finds Gina Carano with his infrared vision, right?
mm-hmm.
And then what happens?
They have a little fisticuffs going on, and she pretty much whoops his ass.
I couldn't believe she
Um,
whooped his ass, dude. I thought he was going to put her down, you know?
well, we're gonna find out in a little while why she has that ability to do that.
Okay.
Um, but they're both laying on the ground and they have their guns drawn. And it's one of those things like you know that you
Yeah.
always see in movie. That you always see in the movie. It's like, well, we're both gonna shoot and we're both gonna die. Neither one of us shoots, and we walk away from here. What are we gonna do? And they just cut to Baby Yoda, standing there.
Wait, he's got the bone broth bowl.
Yep. Yeah.
He's sipping on his bone broth,
Just
watching them
watching.
fight. Brilliant. I mean, I think the writing's brilliant there. It's a heartwarm. It's like an exciting, dramatic, crazy action sequence to this like heartfelt, warm, cute little moment. And they're all gonna kind of get around the table now and have a nice little bone broth and discuss what the hell just happened.
Um, so they decide, okay, they can't both be in this town. It's going to cause too many problems.
Now, why do you think that is? Is it because if they're both there, there's too much attention, or if someone's after one, it'll flag the other?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's
Yeah.
if you have two people that are wanted, then if one of them gets if somebody comes looking for one of them, they're going to find both of them. I
Right.
think is more along the lines of what it was going to be, and they decide Mando's going to leave. Um, him and Baby Yoda are getting ready to go, and all of a sudden these two guys come up and say, "Hey, we need your help." And Mando's like, "You got money?" And he's like, "Yep, this is what we got." And he's like, "No, that's not enough."
Yeah, that's
And
nothing. That's like chunk change to me, man.
it's this is what we need. Um, and I was just trying. I messed something up here.
He doesn't really want their money. He's not interested in helping them. He's trying to get on his ship and get the hell out of there. And then he turns around and he says, "Wait, do you have shelter? Like, are you in a village?" And the guy goes, "Haven't you been listening? We live on a farm." And then Mando goes, "Get in a ship. You can help me with something real quick." So apparently he's interested in the job now.
He's just interested in the job because it's a place for them to stay.
Correct.
Um, and he probably says, "Okay, this is what's going on. You're going to give me your money. I don't really care about that, but I need something, and you're going to give me some place to stay. And you know, you got these people that invaded your city. You need me to go take care of them for you and get your food back and whatever. So I'm going to bring some backup with me." So he goes and he grabs Cara Dune, and they head off to this village. It was the same one that we saw in the beginning. Now they get to the village. It's the same one we saw in the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
that got raided. That's when
But you
I
see that they're
realized.
not all dead. They're not all dead, and they kind of rebuilt it.
Yeah, that's when I realized that first one wasn't a flashback or something. That like I thought when we first got there or they first showed it, I knew it wasn't the Mandalorian. Like I knew it wasn't the same family or whatever that they show, but I thought it was the same time, like
You
the
still
same groups.
thought it was a flashback, same people, but not the Mandalorian. Maybe a different other Mandalorians
Yeah,
in
like
his. Yeah,
from a couple blocks away,
yeah,
or
exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
That's when I that at that point is when I realized that it wasn't. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake on things, but
No, no, I think that's a fair assumption because we don't know what it starts, and it's nowhere near where we left off. It's like this completely different, rice crop looking place. Did I say that right? Rice crop, and you don't know any of these characters, and all of a sudden the orcs from the Battle of Mordor or whatever come fucking storming in. You have no idea what's going on. So it's a fair assumption on your part.
hmm but then all
Helm's
right.
Deep, I
So
wanted to say. Helm's Deep. What a great fucking fight that was. I digress. Go ahead, Mike.
I might get a piece of this wrong. You're gonna have to let me know if I got this backed up a little bit or got them switched.
All right.
So they go to this other village to to attack these people and get their stuff back.
Yes.
And while they're on the way, right, this is before they even got there, or
Yeah.
this is why they're doing recon on it.
They're doing a little recon, which reminded me also of like Spy and Predator stuff. So you got Cara Dune, which is Gina Carano's character, who's on board, basically because she realizes that this is a place that she could shelter up to. Also for the coin that Mando gives them. So they go reconning, and they find out something really, really spooky.
They find that Michael now needs to buy a toy
I
and
do. You do.
understands why this toy is out. Possibly,
Oh boy.
we find out these big ass dinosaur footprints are with the people. I forget. I don't even know if they named their name. What they're called. Well, we're calling them bad guys for right now. The bad
They,
guys.
they they did because I had the subtitles up. It starts with a K. It's like Catulians or something. I'm not there, but I'm close. So they do have a name. This race, and again, if you're listening, if it's expanded universe and we know who these guys are, or if they are in new canon, please tell us. I'd love to know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anybody watching or listening, if there's something that we missed and it's common knowledge in the EU. I am not an EU person at all, so we know that this is where they get a lot of their information from or use as source material.
Right.
Please feel free to let us know. Hop on. I'm out. Wherever it is you want to, however you want to tell me, that's fine. Um, so they find the ATST.
Which is the two-legged walker from Return of the Jedi, Battle of Endor, which would be the most
Chicken
common
walk.
place.
Yep, the
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 chicken.
chicken walker.
Yeah.
Um, and they say, "Oh shit, they got one of these things. We can't do anything like that." It's like it's like saying, it's like me and you are gonna go invade this village, but they got a tank or they got a super tank or whatever it is.
And we've got
Um, you,
nothing. We're on foot.
yeah, like how are we supposed to? We got some guns. That's about it, but that's not gonna do anything. What are we gonna do? So they go back and they tell these people, okay, this is a deal breaker. We're leaving. You know, and they're like, but you said you'd help us, and it's like, well, you can't give us half the information. You can't say these guys came and stole our shit, and then say, oh, by the way, they got more firepower than you're ever going to be able to beat. So come help us anyways. And Cara Dune, she's like, nope, not going to happen. Um, there's no way we're going to be able to beat them. There's only two of us. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, the one guy's like, there's more than two. We're here too. And they're like, okay, who knows how to fight? Who's a warrior? Who's done this? Who's done that? Nobody. So,
Yeah.
you think, what are they going to do? And then the Mandalorian says,
We got to teach them. We got to teach them how to fight and defend
yeah,
themselves.
and which is going back to the whole, um, we're not always going to be here to protect you.
Exactly. I mean, he's like, we got to show them the way.
Which is that's one of that is the third lesson that Rey is taught in the Last Jedi that we don't see in the movie because who they edited that part out. But that's the third lesson that she was being taught not to go to when she's told the pirates are coming in. And they come in
because they cut the scene out. That's why.
yeah, they come in once. They come in once a month, and they raid and they steal and whatever. And Ray's like gonna go help them, and that was the whole point. Is you can't just go and do something because you're gonna leave, and then these people are gonna get it even worse than before you came to help.
Yeah.
But so that was like the perfect lesson that he was basically teaching them was saying, okay, we're gonna teach you that way. We need your help, and once we're gone, you'll be able to protect yourself from them because they're still there. They're still your neighbors, but at least now they're not going to fuck with you anymore.
Yeah. They're basically going to leave them with a way to defend themselves from here on out, which is the most valuable thing that they could possibly do for them.
Yeah. So they teach them how to fight, and they're do their little thing. Not really sure how much time passes, but they go on a sneak attack. They take out a couple of people. They go into a room. And they had a plan all set up too, by the way, for this. And they go into.
They set up like those. They set up barricades first of all, and then the barricades would eventually lead the ATST chicken walk into a pond where they'd have it would be more vulnerable to attack the driver.
Yes. And we've seen that, and that's out of everything, whether it's
Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. I mean, any ground battle.
Oh yeah,
you'll
blocking the streets with tire fires so you can't get out, or in World War II, on the beaches so you can't pull up your boats or your ships. Having things blocked so then people have to get out and fight that way.
Yeah.
But they go to blow this up. I mean, it was only for it to get their attention. Blow up this room, and all of a sudden blow up this hut, and then people come in there. And did you notice the fighting styles? Those weren't fighting styles that you and I would have if we were in a fight.
No.
Those were fighting styles from some ass-kicking MMA fighter shit, where they're doing forearm hitting people with forearms and elbows, and You don't want to
Yeah.
punch somebody. You don't want to punch somebody in the head because you're going to break your hand. But you hit them with your forearm or your elbow, it's going to do even more damage. You're not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, and
Um,
Gina did some of the choreography there, I'm sure. They did
that
have
was my
other
whole point. Like
choreographers, but
it really looked like that was her choreography.
for sure.
That was what my point kind of was.
Yep.
Even when she did a belly to belly suplex to somebody, you're in a fight. You don't belly to belly suplex someone or whatever the technical MMA term's called. That's a wrestling term. But
I thought it added a lot of realism to the action sequences and the fights.
yeah. So is that when she asks for the rifle? Oh no, that's later on.
No, no,
Okay,
no.
all right,
No.
yeah. So they go back. They beat them up, and the HUD explodes. They run back. The ATST Walker comes. It's following them, shooting at them, just
Yeah, so
missing them
basically this
every.
is like bait. This was to bait the walker to the village when they're set up for the attack.
And they get back to the village, and what happens?
They get back to the village, and the walker starts approaching. They tell the villagers to all get ready, and the walker makes a very slow approach to the village. And right before it steps into the pond, the walker actually backs up and turns on a spotlight and looks around and kind of scouts out the situation. And then, not before too long, it actually fires a shot into the village, which causes a lot of concern for the villagers set up for a nice attack and defense.
And yeah, so now Cara Dune says new plan, and this is where we're told for the first time. Now I don't know if this is in Legends or we know this. This is for the first time that I know of that she says, "Give me the pulse rifle." So that's the first time we know what the type of rifle that it is.
First I've heard.
Unless I'd have to go look and see on my toys if it's on there.
Yeah.
On the box for the Mandalorian or not, but I'll forget to do that by later on. So she goes and she makes another plan, uses the pulse rifle, a couple big shots, gets the ATST to advance, steps into the puddle / hole, falls down, and Mando comes up, throws a grenade or bomb or detonator or whatever into
He's
it.
got these little sticky detonators. He sticks them on walls. Goes, that traditional Star Wars pre-bomb thermal detonator sound. Wink,
Yeah.
wink, 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 or whatever. So I think he throws it inside
Yeah, and it blows up. Meanwhile, the rest of the villagers are fighting and winning against the previous raiders or whatever they are. And they end up all fleeing and they leave.
Well, it seems that they killed enough of them, and then once the walker fell, they lost their morale and they all pulled back. And now, I guess, with the villagers having been with the skill set to defend themselves, they probably won't come back again. Is the idea?
So now we go to the next day or whatever it is, and we see Yoda, baby Yoda, playing with all the kids and having a good time.
It's so happy, such a happy little scene, isn't it?
And it's great too because baby Yoda grabs a frog and eats a frog.
Well, he tries to.
And then, but then all the kids are going, ew, gross, or whatever they're saying.
He spits it out.
They get grossed out, so he spits it out because, he doesn't want his friends to be grossed out by him or, whatever it is.
I love it.
Which is funny because, Mando tells him to spit it out a week earlier, and he eats it. And then...
Because you don't listen to your parents, you listen to your friends.
And then his friends are like, oh, that's disgusting. He's like, oh, I don't want to be disgusting to my friends because then they won't like me anymore. So he spits it out. And then we have the mom talking to the mom that was hiding with the little girl, who is also a strong woman character in this because she's the only one that's ever fired a gun. She's the
Hmm.
only one that can hit the target. She was pretty much like the leader of them. Um, she was a widow. I don't know if she was widowed from this raid or previous whatever happened.
Yeah.
But through the thing, she's got a little thing for Mando. They got a little love interest going on. Um,
She asked him about the helmet.
she asks. That's where we first find out, unless it was earlier from other material. She says, when was the last time you took that off? And meaning not ever, because we didn't. So last week, it's I've never taken it off. I've never taken it off. And then people are speculating, well, how does he brush his teeth? How does he eat? What is it like? Is it just disgusting in there? Blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, no, he takes it off, just not in front of anybody else, where anyone else can see his face.
Right.
Um, so, oh, come on. Come on,
Me or the dog?
the dog.
Oh, okay. I was like, you want me to jump in here? So Mando's thinking about it's really going to be a nice place for the kid to kind of stay in hiding, and thinking that maybe no one's going to show up for the kid. And I was really confused at this, Mike, because he knows there's fobs on the kid, which tells me that somehow they know how to find the kid based on the kid's DNA, or maybe there's a tracker in the kid that the Empire put when they caught it. So the fobs know exactly where to go off of the tracking device that's inside the
Yep.
kid, or maybe it's based off of the kid's DNA. I don't really know how that works, but he thinks that it's going to be safe to leave the kid there at this point.
Yeah. And then it's Cara Dune saying to him, why don't you stay here with the lady and make little Mando babies and live happily ever after with the
With
kid.
the kid. Yeah.
And sorry,
No, you're okay.
my
You're
dog's
good.
16. Sometimes she can't stand up. She needs help standing up sometimes.
Oh,
So
we all totally understand.
Well,
Don't worry about it, man.
I had to go pick her up and walk her to go get some water.
No worries, my friend.
Now here's the other one that say hi to everybody. Hi everybody.
Hi,
I
everybody.
love Star Wars.
Oh, it's so cute.
So he takes his helmet off and he eats because there's no one else there.
Yep.
And then we see a fob.
We see
Go
a fob,
off.
man. We see it, and we know that's not good news.
No. And Mando's out of commission because he's eating right now. He's got his helmet off. He's not really paying attention.
He's finally relaxed, and he's enjoying the kid, and he's enjoying this sense of peace. Finally, has a sense of peace that we've seen since we've been introduced to this show.
And then you just see the bounty hunter getting closer and closer, and pulls out his gun. He's got it aimed on Baby Yoda.
Yep.
And the gun fires.
Oh, my dude, I literally shit my pants, and my wife started crying when this gun went off. When we hear a gunshot go off after this rifle scope is right on our baby Yoda.
And cuts to the next scene, and the bounty hunter falls, and Cara Dune was behind it and shot him and took him out.
Thank fucking God.
So now we have Cara Dune saying goodbye to the Mando and Baby Yoda.
Aww.
And she says to him, till our paths cross.
I really thought she was going to... Well, she asked for an escort, and he said no, and now it's till our paths cross. I really thought she was going to be in more than one episode.
I really thought she was going to be in more than one episode also, but...
Is it confirmed that she's not, or we just don't know?
No, we don't know.
Well, I thought her character was great.
I haven't looked at IMDb, but there were people like Dominic Pace was only said to have been, according to IMDb, was only in one episode.
But he was in 2.
But he was in 2. He was in episode 1 and episode 3.
And 3, yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a week or two to see that, but that's when I did my interview with him and I talked with him, which I'm going to edit it this weekend and put it up there and put it up.
We didn't see Gecko die, did we?
No, and I didn't do it in slow motion to see if we actually got shot. We see someone in that direction get shot.
Yeah.
But Gecko, according to what we saw on screen, did not get killed. And according to Dominic Pace, was not killed on screen.
Thank God, dude.
So there's hopefully a good chance that he'll be back in season 2. That's one of those things, everybody talks to him. Even if he knows he's going to be back for season 2, he can't tell anybody.
No, he can't. He's not allowed to say anything.
So we're all sitting here wondering, is he or isn't he? And yeah, I mean, I would love to see him. I would love to see him. There's already, fans have made Funko Pops of him and Black Series of him. He's got a Christmas deal going on right now where you get a bunch of his stuff.
I know,
signed
it's so
pictures.
cool. It's really cool.
So
hold on, Mike. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I mean that's cool that that interview I did with Dominic Pace was everybody else said it was good, but we're our own hardest enemies, and there was a lot of I had it intended in my head to go a little bit differently than it did. I had some other people that were going to be on with me and do more of like a round table, and it was just me. So, and I also did another interview that morning with George Mann, which I need to edit and put up.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. So, I wasn't really quite ready. Not quite ready. It was my first real interview. So, that's going to be up pretty soon.
I'm sure it's great, dude.
So we're gonna, hope that he's in some more of this, and whether or not he's in this or a different one, he's wearing a mask. You can't see him, so hopefully he gets some work in too. And he's, if they don't bring back Gecko, they bring him back as somebody else, or, when they make Star Wars 10, maybe he can be in that one.
Or another TV show.
Yeah. Oh, he's in TV shows all the time. He's got a couple good movies coming out.
That's great.
The day that I interviewed him, he was on 911 that night, or at the same time I was interviewing him, he was on 911. But yeah, I also got a little bit of talking about how we were talking about earlier. To go back to that, like a Rambo vibe.
A little bit.
And I mean, it's just weird because.
In John Rambo, not the last one, the one before that, or the one just called Rambo, I forget. He saves like a village. It felt like that.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because, it was like that's where they actually drew inspiration, whether it was planned or unplanned. But I just see the correlations, whether or not they were really there or not. Whether it's going because he was the rice paddies. If it wasn't rice paddies, it was some other kind of farmland. Would I have thought of something else? But it was like the whole vibe you get from it, I guess.
For sure.
So
I'd have to say this is probably my second favorite episode. No, man, I love my Jawas. I really loved that Mudhorn episode. I think this is my third favorite episode. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where they're all so similar. It's not like where you take the movies, even if you want to just do it by trilogy, and they're all so different. These are also similar, just with a little bit of different aspects. Like one, seems like it draws from Indiana Jones and tells more of a story. And the first one we get to see Baby Yoda.
Right on.
It gives you more of a baseline of what's going on. And I don't know. I can't really.
It's almost like each episode could be like what's your favorite scene instead of what's your favorite episode because it's so similar.
Yeah, it's a tough time saying that. That's a perfect way to put it. What's your favorite scene from this episode? Not what's your favorite episode, because
For sure, I get that.
you know, the whole time he was talking with Gary Busey, that whole thing's amazing. Um, in episode 2.
Yep.
But he was hanging out with Gary Busey in episode 1, and the fight scene in this was probably one of the greatest. It's the best fight scene we've seen. It's the only real fight scene we've seen in Star Wars. Everything else is lightsabers or blasters.
True that.
I don't know. I'm gonna. I'll wait till after episode 8, and then I'll rank them all for you.
I hope that episode 8 is like an hour or an hour and a half. Well, it's definitely not going to be an hour and a half, but I hope it's like an hour.
Yeah. So let's see. What else do we have to talk about? So we have 3 episodes left. We still haven't seen.
We have 4 episodes left.
We have 4 episodes left. Yes.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito.
Right. Who else?
What other big things are we missing? I'm trying to think from the previews or from what we've seen footage already from other episodes. What we're.
I mean, a lot of the promo stuff and the trailers that we've gotten, I think we've already seen. I mean, it was all early episode 1 to episode 3 stuff, really. Well, the Gina Carano, maybe once or twice, we got a clip of her, obviously, in some of these trailers. Why don't we take a look at some of these trailers quickly? I can do that and see if there's some shots with him and Cara Dune, Gina Carano's character, that was not this episode. That could, I can do that on the side and, kind of let you know, Mike. But
okay.
Maybe she is in other episodes. We could kind of figure that out from that. Because I know we see slight clips of her, right, in some of the trailers.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm watching it now very quickly.
And I'm trying to think of a lot of the pictures we saw from, I think, who is it, EW did a photo shoot, and we saw pictures, but I'm not sure if those pictures, I mean, they were mainly staged, so I'm not sure.
Well, you never know. You never know. Oh shit! Hold on a second.
Well, okay.
Okay, so he at 1:20, 1 minute and 20 seconds of the trailer 2 that was released on October 28th, he's landing the Razor Crest, and Apollo Creed is there with 3 guys waiting for him. So that says something coming up.
Okay.
So it seems like you're right. He does go back to Apollo Creed, and there's some guys there. He must go back when the kid is safe. The shot of Gina Carano is right after that, and that's in the village. So, yeah, man, it's really tough to say, Mike. We're gonna have to just kind of. Oh wait, there is the shot of Gina Carano shooting with the bald guy, Bill. What's his name? Bill Byrne or whatever, the actor.
Okay, Bill Burr, yeah, and he's okay. All right, right now, spoiler everyone. I just looked on IMDb.
What's up?
Cara Dune is in 3 episodes as of right now.
Oh, that's great. So they'll probably hook back up in the next one or so. And you do see her at 1 minute and 27 seconds, not in the village or in that episode, and she's shooting what looks to be some heavy artillery, kind of like what the big Mando shoots, that like big giant machine gun that Rambo would shoot. So she's shooting something like that. And then we see Bill Burke Burke right after that.
Yeah, because we got a lot of people that were not in 3 episodes that are now in 3 episodes.
We also got this really great shot of Mando in mid-flight, which looks like he has something on his back. It could be a jetpack, and he shoots one of those Batman cables at looks like a ship to latch onto it.
Yeah.
So
I haven't looked at IMDb for this in a while. So there's some
stuff coming, man. There's some big stuff coming. with this show, and I'm really excited.
Oh, okay. So I'm pretty sure that um the widow, the mother, um,
Yeah.
her name in this was Amara.
Yes.
That her name is Julia Jones in real life.
Okay. And is she in
Um,
any other episodes?
nope, she's just in this one.
Okay.
IG-11 is just listed as in this episode, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong because they show him in more clips that we haven't seen yet. Um,
Yeah, they
John,
probably repair him somehow. They go back and look at
Giancarlo
him.
Esposito is only in one episode, according to this.
Okay.
These are a bunch of people. Wait. Okay, they have IG-11 listed twice because one is the person. I don't know. Did I read that wrong?
No, I think there's some footage or some shots that do not relate to the first episode.
Okay, no, their IG-11 is there's a performance artist listed and there's Taika Waititi listed, but you get to okay. We already saw the armor Emily Swallow. She's only listed in 2 episodes. Carol Weathers is only listed in 2 episodes.
I don't think that's right because there's a shot of the Razor Crest coming down and looks like Apollo Creed's waiting for him there.
That's up until recently. They IMDb can only update when whatever comes out. So all these people, there was only before the show started or when the first episode came out, there was 3 or 4 people that had more than one episode, and everyone else was just one episode.
So it's constantly updating, basically.
Yep. But they're definitely back on that planet because
Yeah.
Tate Fletcher, I thought he was an MMA fighter, but I could be wrong on that. He plays a couple of guys on here. He plays Alpha Trawler, who I think was in the first episode that Mando beat up, the big guy with the beard.
Oh, in the very, very first when he pulls into that station.
But yeah, he's also the heavy infantry Mando, Paz Vizsla.
So he plays the guy that Jon Favreau voices.
Yes.
Got it. So I guess Favreau doesn't put the armor on. That's disappointing.
No. Well, that's what I was saying. The size comparison would just be.
You're right. It's
huge.
Like the guy's like ginormous. It's true.
Yeah, but like on here it says Jon Favreau, Paz Vizsla, uncredited 1 episode. So does that mean that
That just means that he may only talk once in 1 episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does the other guy not talk for the next 2 episodes he's in?
Well, no, because he's probably just fighting. Kind of like at the end of episode 3 where he comes down and he helps him out. Like maybe there's just no dialogue with him moving forward in the other 2 episodes. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, this has been such a ride so far. It's been a great ride. I mean,
it's great. It was great that I woke up this morning. I wasn't even feeling too hot. I got up a little bit late, and I just said today's a Star Wars day. This is great. And next Friday is going to be a Star Wars day again. It's awesome.
Yep. And I'm gonna hang up these headphones with you here shortly, and I'm gonna go to work. And hopefully, we're gonna be nice and slow today, so I can get some of my training done for my double secret promotion.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you.
And it's funny that I talk about my double secret promotion because when I was first told about it, I was like, don't tell anybody because I'm passing over people that should be getting promoted ahead of me. And
hey, listen, man, whatever it takes.
And there's and so it was like, don't tell. Now everybody kind of knows, but no one really knows what's going on. And no one is just like, so I still call it my double secret promotion. Because I'm old and that's Animal House, my double secret probation.
I get it. Well, good luck to you, Mike.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
Hopefully I can, it'll let me be able to hopefully work less hours and
start the same amount of those books you have.
Like, yeah, I can make I can work less hours, make the same amount of money, and I can be able to do stuff. I mean, I don't want to work the same number of hours and
I don't blame
make
you.
make more money. I want to work less hours, make the same amount of money, and hopefully I can get back into school if my financial aid thing gets figured out that the school messed up on. But
Right.
that's neither here nor there. So, all right.
All right,
Oh, other
Mikey.
thing, if you're still
Yeah.
here, anybody listening, and Mike, so I am going to do an advent calendar, a Toomedtoo advent calendar. I'm going to take my advent calendar and I'm going to hang it up, and every day I'm going to open up one of my boxes of either Funkos or Black Series or books, starting December 21st, which is in 2 days from now, until not December 21st, December 1st. From now
Yep.
until Christmas.
All right, man.
And I'll just put, a quick little video on there. It'll be the Toomedtoo Advent Calendar. And if you're not, if it doesn't matter what denomination you are, you can still watch me open up a present. And an Advent calendar, for those of you who don't know, is you put you have a calendar and you have all the days on there for December, going from the 1st to the 25th, and you have some type of little Jesus saying in there or God thing in there, and there's usually like a little piece of candy or chocolate or something like that. So as a kid growing up, you get to be churchy and say, okay, I have to read this passage from this book, or whatever the thing is, whatever prayer is, and then you get a little piece of candy for doing it. I'm doing the same thing, except I'm opening up, going through my Star Wars pile, because I figure I don't think I'll ever be able to have 25 pieces of Star Wars merchandise just laying around to open up again.
Probably not,
Um,
buddy.
so I figured what a perfect time to do it.
Awesome.
All right.
And you're gonna have to come over next weekend. Actually, my cousin's getting married, but maybe the following weekend you'll have to come over because I got some Vader Immortal chapters on my Oculus that I would love to experience with you, man. They're really
Definitely,
great.
brother.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right,
There's a
well,
lot.
Mike, thanks for
Lots
having
of
me, man.
All right, Michael.
All
Michael
right.
Pappas, thank you very much for joining us, me, the Toomedtoo channel, and my two puppies.
All right, buddy. I'll see you again. All right. Maybe
All right.
we'll do episode 5.
Okay, you have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
All right, everybody. Yeah, that was supposed to be done, when our schedules fit in, a while ago and just now, and really, really quick. But that's what happens here when me and Mike start talking. And if I didn't have to go to work, we would have probably made it much longer. But who knows? Anyways, somebody knows. I said good day. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you subscribe and pass it on to everyone you know so you can get in on the giveaways. May the force be with you.